Good evening and welcome to another episode of Capsule Machina. So it's Friday night. The mood was right. I know. I decided, hey, I'm gonna start kind of pulling things apart, making more room. I wanted to change the oil, do all that basic stuff. Pull the alternator because I need a new one. It's overcharging. So I started doing that, kind of just getting everything cleared away, and then it snowballed because ADHD kicked in, OCD kicked in. So this is what I started to do. Pulled out the battery, right? Pulled out the tray because it was dirty. Wanted to clear that area anyways. Intercooler because I wanted to get in there for the glow plugs. Then intake, intercooler piping, intake piping. Tape that stuff off. Started taking off, the bolts and loosening things up for the alternator. Had to go in from underneath. Skid plate was in the way. Remove that. The aluminum, OEM aftermarket skid plate was in the way. Pulled that out. That was a whole hassle in itself. Rusted bolts, Japan. Got that squared away, and then I go, wow. When I closed the hood, the vent kind of shook. Realized that the two clips here were snapped, broken. So it was, when you close it, you hear it, all this, insulation was kind of pulled and frayed. So I took that out. It just, what can I say? I can change the oil and try and multitask. There's no rush. I'm still working on registration. I was gonna change the rocker cover gasket, and then because I ordered stuff from Japan, got the gasket here, got the washers for the top, and I got the half moons, the correct size. I got the gasket maker, and I go, I'm missing something, and I'm missing these two rubber, gaskets here to close the thing down. So I'm gonna go look on eBay or order from Japan and wait a couple of weeks, whatever. Gonna try to change the oil filter as well. Might as well. I cleared out that whole area, just knock it all out. Change the oil, and then if I feel like I have time, I'll jack the van up and then do the transmission fluid, the front and rear diff, and center diff. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Just little steps at a time. I'm still looking for an alternator. Stephen Lee from Rising Sun out of Canada reached out, mentioned something about a higher amperage alternator. That's $450 though. I don't think it's including shipping. But you gotta do what you gotta do, right? While I'm at it, topping off some of the fluid, maybe even replacing the brake fluid, power steering fluid, coolant. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. There's no rush, like I said. So yeah, that's my Friday evening. Tomorrow morning, I'll start on this other stuff and just knock things out as I go. Here's your little update. You're welcome. So, like I mentioned earlier, I had the front vent, or the inlet, the plastic part cracked. So I am attempting to fix it with JB Weld epoxy. Apparently it dries in 5 minutes. I'm gonna try that out, see how it goes. You see there. If not, I'll use this plastic bonder. I should have used this one first, but this was the first one I grabbed. So if that doesn't work, I can always revert back to this. I have some more of that. I got that all squared away. I'm gonna bring it inside because it's pretty cold, and just let it set overnight, and then At least I know it's stronger, not flapping around. But the third one was missing, so you know, it is what it is. Got that there. These Harbor Freight clamps are really coming in clutch, so I've already used it, you know, on the sunroof and all that. Fixing those things I mentioned earlier, the deflector, little plastic pieces. So got that going, and then like I said, tomorrow morning we'll knock some stuff out, because here's my list of stuff that's ever growing. Make a list, keeps you on track, kind of. Alrighty, good morning. All right, so update on the plastic mod I used. Like I mentioned before, I always kind of just make a little bit more so I can gauge how strong it actually is. And that is solid. So here, turned out not bad. I mean, you're not going to see any of this anyways. It's just a matter of making sure these brackets, plastic brackets, are not going to move or snap or break. And I'm putting a pretty good amount of pressure on it, and it's not gonna. So slide these bolts back in, and I can mount her up. So that is done. I got the win. So moving on to other things, I'm gonna change the oil today, and then the glow plugs, and then oil filter. We'll see how it goes. Looking up some videos on YouTube University, and don't really have anything on the L400, but they have the L300, and there's some other ones for the Pajero. And with the Pajero, they just kind of just screw it off. I think it's all depending on the placement. So I got to look in there and see how. Well, let's do that now. Dark. I might have to I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I can probably get a channel lock in there and kind of twist it out, which would save me a lot of time. I think that would be my best bet. So I'm sorry. Undoing that clip that's right down there, and then probably these two just to get more clearance. If not, that'll be sweet, but if I'd have to, then whatever. And then slowly removing it. Put a bunch of rags down there to collect the diesel that's gonna spill inevitably, and then unscrew it, and then fill up the new one, and then screw that back in. Hopefully it's that easy. And then I guess there's a hand pump up there that I kind of use to bleed the air. So we'll see how that goes. I spray some penetrating fluid on the glow plugs just in case. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna follow Piston Shack's advice and just go slow. There's no rush for any of this, so slow and steady wins the race. And while I'm doing an oil change and kind of do 2 or 3 things at once, so knock it all out. So I'll give you an update when we're all situated and done. Quick update, I replaced the glow plugs. I think they were replaced before, because I'm gonna pull it out of my little makeshift trash. They're not OE, but you could tell they're pretty clean all the way around. But to have a clean slate and peace of mind, I got some OEM Mitsubishi ones, so got those in there. They were easily removed. Just took my time. The front one this one kind of gave me a little bit of a tension coming out. So like what Piston Shack did, he sprayed penetrating fluid, turned it a little bit, sprays more, put it back in, and just reverse and forward, back and forth, spraying the penetrating fluid down on there, and it came loose. So taking my time, I just didn't want to you know, take a chance. All the rest of them, once they got to a certain point, it was really loose and I was good to go. Didn't really have to clean this too much. This still has the zinc plating on it still. Did clean up where it does make the contact. And then I made sure to reroute this correctly because because it was replaced from stock, pinched this cap onto that. So it was kind of pinched to it. So I made sure that was all clear. Fuel filter I did remove. It was a Mitsubishi one. It was an OE one. Let me turn this off in case it. And it was kind of a pain, but not too much. Someone had He-Man strength or something, really tied it on there. So all I had to do was really remove this one here to give me a little more room access. What I used was a big channel locks and loosened it up. Now mine still had the drain on it. So because I felt like, man, this thing could be brittle and it's really tough, I just snipped it at where it connects here. And that way I can just unscrew it and not have to worry about this or yanking it out or possibly breaking this. And then what I did was that little piece that was on there, I just took a razor to it, slid it, and then removed it. So that way I wouldn't have to risk popping this off. Then I realized it was a drain. I could have unscrewed it all together, but hey, whatever, live and learn. This is a aftermarket one from Nito. Still made in Japan. This one's nice because the OE one has these kind of like things where you can grab on, but it's up here. This one has it down low, so I figured it'll be easier to remove next time around. It's not like I'm going to use that He-Man strength to tighten it up. I was going to finish that up, and then I realized I didn't have any more diesel because I just poured it into the Delica. So I got to pick up a little bit of diesel so I can top this off and then screw it back in. You will make a mess if you do it. I did, and I tried my hardest not to spill anything, but it's inevitable. So just be aware of that. Get comfortable with the diesel smell. Still working on the oil change. Truth be told, I wanted to get down there and just drain it while I was doing all this other stuff, but then I got hyper focused on it and I haven't started draining the oil. So I'm going to do that. Remove the filter. This filter has a little drain plug on it, which is cool. I'm going to do that so when I remove the filter, I have more access to the bottom end of the alternator, and then I can remove that screw and that screw holding, or the bolt holding in the alternator, and I can pull the alternator out. So that's out of the way. Now, after doing that, removing the alternator, because I don't have one yet, do I leave it? Because I mean, removing that oil filter frees up a lot of room in that area to remove the alternator, remove that bolt at least. What to do? I still haven't ordered one, and I'm kind of weary. Everyone's like, oh, get OE, but man, $700 from the OE alternator, it's kind of rough. $400 is rough. I'm grappling with the idea of, you know, older Mitsubishi where I can get one for $100 and it'd be good to go, a Denso one at that, you know. But this one, I don't know. Like, and then there's some in Australia. I know it's gonna take a couple weeks to get to me. Stephen Lee has his for a pretty good price. I think I'm gonna go with his. It'll be like a 120 amp, and he's in Canada, so it's not too far away. Should take about a week. And it's a local business. Well, local-ish, you know. It's a small business, so I can support them. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him a message. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm just gonna drain the oil, get that all squared away. And after that's done, putting everything back together, I'm just gonna kind of work on the interior and make use of my weekend, you know. I honestly didn't think this was gonna go so fast. Oh, another thing too I read up on is when we change the alternator fuse here, it says 100, and that's for that 90 amp fuse. And this one has 100. You got to upgrade it to a 120. Oh, because of that. So FYI, I read that on the forum somewhere. Cool. I'll update you some more as I plug along. Stay cool. All right. So I'm draining the oil and checked up the alternator, and I got a part number Alpha 3 Tango Alpha 4 2 9 8. Looked it up. It's a Denso. Apparently that's a 120. So they changed it with the right one? I don't know. I got to do more research. I want to double check. So I remember I had to change that top end fuse for the positive cable. So I started on that, and here it is, you know. So I'm trying to yank on it. I'm like, man, this thing is like hella hard to take out. So I'm like, okay, don't force it, because I was starting to stick things in here and pry into it to open it up. There's two caps, there's two covers on the sides, and there's two 10 millimeters. They're holding it in. So sorry if I'm kind of fumbling with this, but that's there with the bolt, and then this side with the bolt, and this fuse is seated in there. So, you know, save yourself some headache and take that off, because I was just about to start prying on it, and I will break it and then to find out later, oh dang. So I got to find these interesting fuses for a 120, and I'm gonna button everything up, put everything back, and then who knows, or reach out to the forums and see what happens there. I don't know if this is enough to cause whatever issue I have with the alternator as far as it flickering. You want to go the route of least resistance, which is this, and easier on the wallet. So I'm gonna try that out, put a 120 amp in, find a 120 amp, button everything back up, and then take it from there. Who knows? But I'm gonna research the alternator. If I do need to go one, it is what it is. So, but I'm gonna find this alternator. All right, cool little update. Okay, day 2 of the maintenance for the Delica. I had to stop and you know, be a dad yesterday, so I didn't install the fuel filter because I forgot to get diesel. So last night I went to pick some diesel up. I'm gonna top that off, complete that, and then finish removing the alternator. Let's go around this way. Only 2 screws holding it in, really, and I got those removed, and it's ready to go, but I gotta shimmy it out. I purchased the updated 120 amp from Stephen Lee and Rising Sun Imports out of Canada. So hopefully that gets to me soon. And then I can send that as a core, which is kind of a shame because it is a new one, but I mean, there's something wrong with it. Belts are still good on that, so I'm gonna keep the same belts. Ordered some LED headlights and then side marker lights. So since I have that whole area pulled apart, I might as well do that. I was gonna replace the bulbs in the fog lights, but man, it looks like a pain in the butt to get to. So I'm just gonna leave those as is because I'm really not gonna be rocking fog lights all the time. But I'm thinking about tinting the glass, so, you know, putting some vinyl tint, yellow, just to kind of give it a little more off-roady look. Kind of did that with the GX too. Those are clear and I just added some tint to it. So I'm thinking of doing that after I get it all cleaned up. Got the wipers in. So quality wipers, Rain-X ones. Better quality than the ones I got earlier, so, or before. I'm gonna put those back on. Just kind of button things up. I'm not gonna put the oil in because without the oil filter there, I just have tons more room to negotiate the alternator. So I'm gonna not put any fuel in it. I'm gonna leave a little reminder for myself, a piece of tape over the fuel or something, or the oil filler cap saying there's no oil in it, just in case I forget, because, you know, I'm not young and I don't remember everything. What else? And then after I get that all buttoned up, maybe work on some stuff under the hood. I put the hood scoop back on, and that's solid. I might finish the day off just kind of working on the interior, doing it over and over again, even though it's getting better, but it can be a lot better. I think my issue is that my extractor, or my shop vac with the extractor attachment, or even just this, what is it? Bissell? Is it a Bissell? No, Hoover. My Hoover carpet extractor or carpet cleaner, it just isn't strong enough to pull whatever I spray up there 100% out, because I'm sure if I had the right, obviously if you had the right tools, it'll be a lot better. So I'm gonna get that knocked out today and kind of call it. Like I said, and I hold true to this, you know, a little bit here and there every day or whenever you can, get you closer to that finish line, and getting it all squared away, because I still have to wait for registration. So all right, I'll give you an update later on today. Cool. So got the alternator out with some gentle persuasion. They would pull it out, pull it up from above. Be aware that, I mean, it gets tight once you get it past all this. I had to really push this, the radiator hose over to kind of shimmy it and to turn it, and then it came out. So just FYI. And I had to remove this bracket. This bracket up here goes right there. So just to give me more clearance. And like I mentioned, I think I'm gonna leave it out, because right there is where the oil filter goes, and that's where the bolt is. So getting around the oil filter, because it's so massive, to get to this bolt to unscrew it or tighten it up, in this case, now that I put it back, I'll put everything back in, would be kind of a pain. So save myself some headache, and being a contortionist, you know, I'm gonna leave it off. Here are the two connections that go to the alternator. I don't know if I mentioned yesterday, but I did find that fuse, the 120 fuse. So I already replaced that fuse. It lives in here, and I found it at O'Reilly's, last one there. So I was pretty happy about that. It was like $7, something like that. So gonna kind of clean up my mess, make sure I don't lose anything. I did replace the bulbs. I bought the wrong side marker bulbs. I got 1156 and I should have got 1157. And the difference is one of the little nubbies is higher than the other. 1156, they're equal. So order those up, they should be here tomorrow, whatever. I did change the front headlights with the LEDs. And with the 1156, out of curiosity, I went to check the reverse lights, and they're 1156. So I just popped them in the rear. So I got some white, super bright LEDs in the rear here. And with mine, I don't know, maybe most, you get it from Japan. It's like, what? The plastic's still there? That kind of stuff just geeks me out. I'm like, wow. Every used car in the States I bought here, that's been like somewhat molested, this is always gone. It's crazy. So you pull that off, and it's right here. And you just twist, pull it out, pop it out. Easy breezy. So that's good. And it kind of gives me a heads up on what wires I need to tap into when I eventually run the camera line up to here and then down into here, and then the camera in here. I just don't feel like breaking any more clips right now. Kind of want to just get her on the road and like daily it for a little while. And what I mean by daily, it's not like drive it every day, but kind of, you know. So work things out, find out other things, because I know there's other little gremlins hiding in here. So I'm gonna put the windshield wipers on and then start cleaning the interior. It's still pretty early, only about 9 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, cool little update. I might update at the end of the day. But progress, making progress. Alrighty.